And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original, I guess it's anime series, the season 3 of Scissor Seven. Let me know in the comments below who is your favorite character from this animated series. Let's jump in. Seeking to recover his memory, a scissor-wielding, hairdressing, bungling quasi-assassin stumbles into a struggle for power among feuding factions. So coming off the end of season 2, we had that massive fight, and now most of our main protagonists, Scissor Seven's friends, are massively injured. And the first episode kind of plots us directly into the arc of where he is told basically to go and find out about his history. He needs to go back to his basically where he was, this assassin. He needs to go back to that city, and that's where he'll recover his memory. And so I thought, wow, they're going to massively rush this arc because they dove headfirst. But then from episode 2 onwards, it's all about the journey getting towards this city, and it's not straightforward either because our hero finds multiple maps that supposedly will lead him to the correct destination, but he ends up at various different places where we have some more backstory being brought to life for some of our other characters, like the bodybuilding, the strong nation, and you can imagine what else you might get. It's also not just about our main protagonist story. We also get some of the background stories for some of the side characters, which I'm sure you'll love because they've built them up over the 2 seasons, where it's this amalgamation between an animation style that is bonkers, really funny, also very meme worthy. If you watch Yarmak's animation style, you'll recognize some of that style. It's really over the top. And then it's mixed in with serious animation, great action set pieces, and so we have this weird balance, and not every anime can pull it off. But Scissor Seven kind of sits somewhere quite snugly in the middle between the realm of absolute silliness to absolute seriousness. And we are quite taken back. I often watch this with my son. We love this series, and when we go from quite silliness to just really dark. For example, there's been this continuing storyline with this young girl who is half hero, half stern, and she has something in her DNA that makes her sick, and they've been unable to heal her in the past 2 seasons. Even though she was almost dying, they helped her somewhat. But she's basically dying of something that's in her blood that is similar to cancer. And so that storyline gets darker, and she is a focus, not a main focus, but she is part of the main arc that leads us into the 10 episodes for season 3. Now, if you were hoping that this will be a conclusion for season 3, it's not. There is more coming, and I'll talk about that later. The animation style, once again, is fantastic, and we have those action sequences that you've probably come to expect to be great, fast, frenetic. One of the great things about this animation style is you get to see everything. Recently, Netflix dropped a whole bunch of new animation series, from the 7 Deadly Sins to Baki Hana, and some of those action sequences you don't get to see because they're cut away, or there's some talk moments, like they're describing their action moments that they're about to see, and then you don't get to see it. Scissor Seven is different. It leads up to it. You have the silliness, you have the kind of background story, and then you get into the action and you actually get to see what they're doing. And you can definitely see that this season has more budget, but also they like to kind of shine a light, like this is where we're spending our budget, this is the best part. And so when you get to the silliness, they can kind of lend back from the animation, change up the style, which we have a few different animation styles in this, which makes it's even more funny because it really is a stark kind of contrast to the main arc and the action sequences that you're probably really enjoying and can't wait to get back to. But at the same time, I guess it's building emotional context for the background of those characters, so it gets you entangled with wanting to find out and root for your protagonist. So it's not just our main protagonist, so you get that silliness, them pulling funny faces, them doing stupid things, the music is lightened, even the intro score, which is new this season and is fantastic, has a halfway point. So you get that really nice authentic score style, very dark, kind of moody, and then it switches up to electric guitar, which then lends itself to reminding you, and it shows at the same time about the island. You have these 2 contrast worlds, and that's what it's all about really, this anime, kind of those 2 worlds colliding, and you're wanting Scissor Seven to be able to have that life, but if he wants to protect that life, he's got to go take out the bad guys. And you feel for him because every time he manages to do something or survive something, the characters in this season particularly are just super overpowered, and and you do feel like, well, how is he ever going to survive this? And along the way, he will get some help, and that's when we get some more of those action sequences and some inner monologuing, like, should I help him or should I not? You know, classic anime style. It kind of ticks all the boxes of what you'd expect to be in this anime. I'm going to rate this as, I think it's my second favorite. I love season 1, I love season 2, but the first season really kind of just jumped out at me as there's something new and fresh. And so we're working off the back of these 2 seasons, but I do really like what they did with this season. However, I do think season 1 is still better because of kind of where this season left us, in the middle of a fight. And then if you're watching the credits, and here's my top tip for this season, sometimes Netflix will skip over to the next episode, and that's fine, you're not missing anything. But if it's scrolling through the credits, watch the credits, because you get another sequence at the end, so you may have missed something out in the story. So we get to the end of episode 10, and this is where they're showing us a little bit in the credits, as the credits are rolling, where all our characters are, and they're all over the place. It's a mess for the storyline. It's like a puzzle piece or a puzzle that hasn't been built yet. And so I'm going to give this 4 Nicolas Cages out of 5. I'm going to talk about the end credits scene now. So if you completely don't want spoilers, look away. Thanks so much for watching, but let's jump into spoilers. Because the end credit scene basically says that there is going to be a film, and that's how they're going to wrap up the storyline. If you're wondering when that's going to be, in an interview, the creator said that it's coming in 2022, so you won't get it this year. It's not like what Netflix have done with the 7 Deadly Sins, and they dropped the last batch of I think season 5 or 6 was it 7 Deadly Sins, and then dropped the film a week later. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that this time around. But we are going to get the completion. They've had a little bit more budget injected into this series, and so we're finishing that story with a film. And so that is coming, hopefully not too late into the year of 2022. Unfortunately, that does mean that we have to wait to find out what's going to happen to our characters. They're just going to be on pause in the midst of fights and all over the place. We have the vampire lady who's just there in the waiting. The crow guy is kind of being beaten, I guess. He was slashed in the face and was wondering how he was able to defeat it. We see the master who is chained. There's so many things going on. All the stories are kind of left in the middle of nowhere. We do have some of the other characters from Scissor Seven on their way to the island. That's where I think it's going to lead, that the characters from the island are somehow going to end up at the, like, basically the 2 islands connecting, and we know how powerful they are because of what's on the island, what's underneath this power. So I'm hoping that the clash will be Scissor Seven's friends and these ninjas fighting, and that will be like the ultimate battle. I think that would be really fun, and that's kind of where I think the story might be going. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.